This is Duncan McBride. He was the surgeon during my spinal fusion operation in December of 2009. McBride told me that the operation would include an intervertebral body cage. This is essentially a spacer that is put in place of the disc after it has been removed. These are some examples of some different cages. The cage was extremely important to me because I had nerves that were being pinched between the vertebrae. In order to relieve that intense pain, it was important to increase the space between the L5 and S1 vertebrae. But the cage wasn't installed during my procedure, and McBride never even told me. I had to find out by going to another doctor. In this comparison of MRI images from before and after surgery, you will see that the space between L5 and S1 was reduced rather than increased, and the alignment of my spine was also made worse by the surgery. The cage also helps the fusion to take place. Without the cage, my spinal fusion failed and I had to have my operation performed over again at my own expense. I complained about having been lied to McBride and UCLA. Their response was that they didn't care and they weren't going to do anything for me. Next, I sent complaints to the co-directors of UCLA Spine Center, Dr. Langston and Dr. Shamie. Of course, neither of them cared either. Neither of them even responded to my letter. After that, I sent letters to every doctor at UCLA Spine Center. I didn't get a response from any of them either. There is not a single person at UCLA Spine Center that has any concern for patients or any medical integrity. A doctor with real medical integrity would have an interest in preventing the kinds of incidents that I complained about in my letters. These doctors were not even interested in hearing the details regarding my complaints. So, I sent letters to all of the administrators within the UCLA Health Network. Each of these people received a letter from me, and not one of them had enough medical integrity or concern for patients' health to respond. Included in the letters sent to each of these administrators was an offer for me to provide suggestions on how they could improve operations in the hospital to benefit their patients. Most specifically, I have suggestions that could help UCLA greatly reduce the amount of infections their patients receive. None of the people I have contacted within the UCLA Health Network have any interest in learning what those suggestions are. This is very strange considering that UCLA has a major problem with infections at their hospitals. This graphic was published in the Daily Bruin based on data collected by the Leapfrog Group. As you can see, UCLA was worse than the average hospital when it comes to giving their patients infections. In fact, UCLA scored worse than the average hospital in all of the patient safety categories. That is why UCLA was given an F rating. The hospital continues to operate as if it is still the premier institution it used to be, and UCLA still enjoys a positive reputation among the public. Known to almost nobody, there are numerous news articles about UCLA's poor performance and high patient injury rates. UCLA injures patients and then denies them any settlement, a refund, or even any modicum of human compassion. Patients are left to figure out how to get along with life and deal with their new injuries on their own. Meanwhile, tuition at UCLA has been on a steady rise, and some of the doctors and administrators at UCLA Health earn in the neighborhood of $1 million and more. That's the secret UCLA conspiracy. They pinch pennies by providing poor medical treatment and cutting back on hospital staffing. Then they raise fees on the students to increase revenues so the doctors and administrators can get paid millions to continue to provide poor medical treatment to patients. UCLA needs to answer for their actions and take responsibility for the patients they have harmed. If you agree, please sign our online petition. There is a link to it in the description of this video. Thank you.